Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here on this very exciting day. To honor this moment in the best way I know, I would like to open with a brief meditation. If you are able, please move to the edge of your seat, sit up straight, move your gaze to your nose, or close your eyes. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I know this is the present moment. Breathing out, I know this is the wonderful moment. You may now open your eyes and we can begin. You probably never imagined your graduation as a meditation over Zoom, but here we are. Picture this. I was a religion major already at Emory, and I had just finished a summer in India living at Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, studying compassion-based practices and philosophy. I made this decision to join the B School, so they send me and 200 new B School students, out of which I know 2 people, on a bus for orientation at a Jewish day camp in the mountains of North Georgia. The lack of cell phone reception made things worse. I'm placed in an orientation group with 8 strangers, thinking, did I not already go through orientation at Emory? Wasn't that one of the worst experiences of my life? And soon, we walk to a pool on this August day. We're told to build a boat out of cardboard and tape. We have 30 minutes to build it and then get in it and paddle across the pool. My group awkwardly and artlessly taped together pieces of cardboard and then threw the boat into the pool when time is up. I watched as June, this athlete in my group, heroically jumped in the boat and started paddling away with his hands and kicking with his feet as the boat slowly sank to the bottom of the pool. This was my first real business school group project, a solid sign for how things were to go when I was to be assigned projects in the classroom. What many people don't know about us, though, I would argue, is that we are an incredibly resilient group. We're called snakes, only caring about internships and full-time jobs, and of course, money. But I have found our learning has forced us to evaluate ourselves now and how we will navigate society and make meaningful changes for the future. Let's take my experience in Professor Burdett's B-Law class, for example. As an aside, not only did I get to listen to hours of Burdett shining her B-Law wisdom into my ears through her podcasts, but the passengers on airplanes sitting next to me as I flew to job interviews and my supportive parents have surely heard her too. I remember racing to my first 6-hour Burdett exam, and I'm sitting at Caldi's waiting for my bagel to come, and then I go to the exam, I sit down, I open up all these questions, matching for cases that I didn't know, and they were all in different fonts. I reach for my bagel, I'm hoping to stress eat, it falls on the floor. 4 hours later, I can't focus. My stomach hurts, I reach for the bagel, I look both ways, and swallow my pride. Shockingly, I did not do as well as I had hoped in my first B-Law exam. Burdett followed up by sending me a personalized email asking what the heck happened, and ordered me to meet with her in her office to work on better study strategies. She told me to study by writing only examples about a company I would like to start, which I decided was a sustainability nonprofit. Through this experience, I slowly unraveled deeper meaning in my learning, weaving together what I learned from business and society, social enterprise in Latin America, and my religion classes to contracts and torts for business law. This is the type of education I appreciate and admire about Goizueta, and I know I'm not alone. Resilience also comes into play when we face crises. I don't know what I could be referring to here. Dr. Nowicki defines a crisis as something that happens when you cannot use what you did before, so you must develop new ways of doing things. Leadership is what happens when we do when the ways we knew before do not work anymore. While in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, I think back to other crises we faced. Remember transitioning to college? Remember taking DSci with Professor Miller freshman year? I think back to the feeling of sitting in my first year dorm room in Terman Hall, staring blankly at my homework sets on my desk. I remember calling my friends from high school who were good at math and realizing they didn't know how to do the problems either. I remember the sinking feeling of never having so much freedom, yet having no idea of where to find people that got me, whether or not it was worth it to swipe into the duck just to get an apple, and why there was a jackhammer tearing down the building behind me as I was trying to nap. Somehow, we made it through. My neighbors, Mohammed and Sam, let me crash their study sessions for DSci. Every 2 weeks, the Saturday before the quizzes, Mohammed would make us a pot of coffee around 11 p.m., and we would fight and laugh about getting the right answers on the whiteboard, using the Pareto principle and regression analyses as opportunities for jokes. Yes, I appreciate the nerdiness of Emory. The best way to deal with a crisis, to show leadership, and to practice this thing called resilience, I'd argue, is to be creative and present, to have fun with it if you can. This is not me saying to ignore the suffering of crises, but to maintain hope that regardless of our setbacks, it's going to be there. The most useful piece of advice I received about navigating inevitable college crises was during pre-BBA office hours from Dean Egnor. She told me to put on my blinders and not worry so much about what everyone else around me was doing. In college, I had a unique opportunity to try out different paths and identities. Somehow, or sometimes, however, it can be useful to follow what everyone else is doing. Like the time in my first semester in the B school when I was on a mission to do yoga, I had my mat in hand and I was walking across campus. I ran into my friend Sean, who was dressed in a suit. He said he was going to the Bain info session, and I said, shit, if I want to work at Bain, should I go too? The learning curve during that first semester here can be steep, one might say. Sometimes, in the process of learning new paths of possibilities and trying out new identities, we push ourselves into unknown territory. We must ask the scary question, is this right for me? I consider the idea of working from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. without a lunch break. Maybe that isn't my path. Luckily, Goizueta gives us the resources, coaching, support, and community to investigate these territories together. It is a special place to be affirmed throughout our process that, given the tools of communication, problem solving, blood, sweat, toil, and tears, Highland Bakery peanut butter bars, we can learn different ways of thinking about problems. And on that note, it feels kind of like a letdown to have worked, grown, and explored to build up to this. I think of the Omen-like class where in January, Dr. Nowicki told us to start ending now. To that end, we need to thank those who helped us, to learn about ourselves, and to simply be present because we cannot control the future. Dr. Margaret Edson, a playwright, talks about graduation and emphasizes that not everything that counts can be measured. In fact, the most valuable parts of college are already inside of us. No one can take them away. No one can take away duly the fact that our weather is better than our friends at other colleges, the duck workers' encouragement, Dr. Green's jokes that get you through finance, the fact that we get beer every Thursday and the college doesn't, Wes's oxymoronically depressing and inspiring classes, venturing into lullwater after spending 6 hours in the stacks and thinking, oh yeah, trees do exist. And that feeling that maybe you found your people. Change has been and will be the only thing we can count on. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it has always been about finding your mutually reinforcing set of unique activities that work together to make you you and to serve as your strategy, your path through this new uncharted territory. Thank you, JK Strategy. We will not just be looking into different careers, but we'll be looking at doing careers differently. To be trained and supported through change and its inevitable challenges will continue to bring us together in times where it is hard to see hope. And I could not feel more proud and grateful to be part of that community. Thank you.